I've recently spoken about the collection of books that we call the New Testament, and I hope I've been able to show you that the record of the founding of Christianity is accurate. But much of the New Testament's reliability hinges on the reliability of the Old Testament. And I believe there's adequate reason to trust it too. In this video, I want to show you a few reasons why. I'm Pastor Mike, and my channel is called Scripture That Makes a Difference, because I believe Scripture's made a difference in my life and it can make a difference in yours as well. So each video on this channel aims to show how each passage makes a difference today. If this is your first time here, you can learn more about this channel in the description below. And if you'd like more of this kind of content, just click that subscribe button. And stick around till the end. I'll show you the most powerful evidence that the Old Testament is reliable. A lot of the teaching of Jesus and the apostles have the Old Testament as its foundation. But after so many years, should we trust it? A lot of work has been invested in this area, some to support the veracity of the Old Testament, and some to attack it. The large number of New Testament manuscripts is sometimes used to support the New Testament's authority, but the Old Testament doesn't have that evidence to back it up. But maybe the small number of Old Testament sources actually works for it. And I'm going to try to show you why. The best evidence I know of for the reliability of the Old Testament text is the almost ridiculous rules followed by the scribes. One of the rules they used was what I call the counting rule, where they would count the number of letters per line on the original, and then they would compare that to the number of letters per line on the copy. If they weren't exact, the copy was no good. They would count the number of lines per page in the original, and then they would count the number of lines per page on the copy. And if they didn't match, the copy was no good. Then they would count the number of spaces in each line, and then count the number of spaces in each line on the copy. And if it didn't match, the copy was no good. In essence, they were making what we would call an exact photocopy of the original as a new copy. Another rule was what I call the no memory rule. For each stroke of the pen, they had to look at the original and then back at the copy. That would be like us looking at the original copy 4 times each time we wanted to write a capital letter M or a capital letter W. The downward stroke on the M or the W would be one look, then we'd have to look back at the original before we made the angled stroke. We'd look back at the original before we made the second angled stroke, and then we would look back at the original before we made the last downward stroke. 4 different looks. Each stroke had to be verified before it was made. If we were using punctuation, each period would require a look at the original. Each comma would require a look at the original. Each colon would require 2 looks. Each semicolon would require 2 verifications on the original for each dot. A third rule was the proofreading rules that they used. A second person would have to verify that the original rules were used, and even if the copy was good, if the rules weren't used, the copy was discarded. Then that person would check the content and verify that it was the same as the original. And then a third person would determine if the middle word on each page was the same on the original as it was on the copy. The rules for disposing of manuscripts also encourages our confidence in the Old Testament as we have it today. When a manuscript was found to be faulty, or it became too worn to be used anymore, there were rules for its retirement. When a manuscript was damaged or worn it was placed in a room called the Geniza. This was a special room in the synagogue for sacred documents to be stored when they could no longer be used. Over the years, when the Geniza was destroyed, maybe by war or some natural disaster, the older manuscripts were destroyed too, leaving very few ancient manuscripts for today. And all these rules contribute to the low number of existing manuscripts that we can look at today, but it's also evidence for the accuracy of the Old Testament that we use. And while these are very encouraging to us when we consider the reliability of our Old Testament, it's Jesus who makes the Old Testament reliable to a Christian. In John 7:38, Jesus said, "Whoever believes in me, as the Scripture said, out of his heart will flow rivers of living water." Now I'll talk about the meaning of the living water in another video. Right now I want to focus on the phrase, "as the Scripture has said." And Jesus has used this Old Testament reference, or this reference to the Old Testaments describing him, as the foundation of his own identity. He obviously felt they were reliable. And for that reason, so should we. So how do you react to this? Was there anything new that you hadn't heard before? Or do you have any questions that need to be clarified? You can put those in the comments and I'll respond to those as soon as I can. You can also make suggestions for future content. Perhaps you have a passage that you have a hard time understanding and you'd like to know how it's relevant for today, how it can make a difference in your life. Put that in the comments and I'll try to cover that in a future video. And if you'd like to hear more about how Scripture passages can make a difference today, click the subscribe button and click the bell so you're the first one to know when I release a new episode. Don't forget that you have a hand in getting the Scripture making difference out to others as well by sharing it in your favorite social media. And if you live anywhere near Enid, Oklahoma, please come by and visit us. Our address is on our Facebook page. There's a link for that below. Our services take place at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. I look forward to seeing you then. Until that time, remember that the accuracy of the Scriptures make them worth living by.